Well, hey, Southern Oregon, welcome back to the Real Estate Show. So glad you could join us today. I'm Alice Lema. I'm a real estate broker here in Southern Oregon with John L. Scott Real Estate. And today we're going to have Becca Pierce of Good Works Construction coming in to talk to us about safety in your home. They do a lot of interior work for elderly people, but all of us could use a little more information and education about how to be safe in our homes. So Becca Pierce of Good Works owns the company with her husband, Jim, and she will be joining us shortly to talk all about what they do for making homes safer inside and out. In the meantime, let's check in with our local statistics because we've got some good news. Not 100% good news, but we've got some good news to report. Let's start with Jackson County first. Jackson County prices year over year are up 4% in the residential market. The average single family home costing $471,264 this week. The number of solds in Jackson County year over year are up 16%. We had 42 closings in Jackson County in the residential market this week on SOMLS. The number of listings year over year in Jackson County are neutral. They didn't go up, they didn't go down. We have 568 active listings on SOMLS this week in Jackson County. Let's jump over to Josephine County. Josephine County prices year over year are up 17%. The average single family home in Josephine County costing $480,967 in the residential market. The number of solds in Josephine County year over year this week are up 50%. We had 15 closings on SOMLS this week in Josephine County on the residential side. The number of listings in Josephine County year over year are up 10%. There's 280 active listings on SOMLS in the residential market in Josephine County this week. Let's check with Klamath County. We had two good reports for Josephine and Jackson counties. Klamath is mixed. We've got prices year over year up 4%, which is still great. The average single family home in Klamath County costing $380,777 this week. The number of solds year over year in Klamath County are down 18%. There were 9 closings on SOMLS in the single family residential market in Klamath County this week. The number of listings year over year in Klamath County are down 3%. There were 221 active listings in the residential market, Klamath County, on SOMLS this week. So we're mixed, but 2/3 up with 2 of our counties, and happy to see that. We still need more listings. Really happy to see prices starting to come up a little bit from this time last year. And, out there this week, it felt a little bit better. The Freddie Mac interest rates for the 30-year fixed are 6.94, which isn't terrible. Let's get over to Becca Pierce of Good Works. Well, welcome, Becca. I'm so happy to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So it's a very happy accident that we're together today because I saw one of your trucks driving around with the phone number and I said, I got to talk to these people.
Great. That's why we have it on there.
Yeah. And lo and behold, here you are. So why don't we start with, what Good Works is and how it came to be?
Sure. So Good Work Services, we started back in 2010. So we've been in business for about 15 years ago, 14, 15 years. We started in Las Vegas when we lived there as just a one-man handyman business. So we actually started as Good Work Handyman. And then about 7, 8 years ago, back up, about 10 years ago, we moved up to Oregon, moved the business here. Obviously, we ran in both Vegas and and Medford for a few years, and then shut down the Vegas. It was just a better opportunity up here. So moved it up here, and then about 7, 8 years ago, we were approached by a gentleman. He worked out of a foundation called Grandma's Porch, asking us if we would be able to install grab bars and safety equipment and transfer benches and transfer poles, wheelchair ramps for some of their needy customers, that couldn't afford it. So we said, yeah, we'll be able to help you with that, and donated some time and things to help them with that, and it just kind of grew into more of a business that we do more of wheelchair ramps, more of bathroom renovations, kitchen renovations, making it accessible for people in wheelchairs, or just people with difficulty to would be mobile and things like that. So so we've been doing that for 7 years, 8 years. We've installed thousands of grab bars, installed hundreds of wheelchair ramps, and then we a few years ago came across this CAP certification, where it's an actual like an official course given by National Association of Home Builders, who is a home builder association most of you guys are aware of, I'm sure. And it's a 3-day course, I believe. It's either 2 or 3 days, and they teach you everything from putting a plug up a little bit higher so somebody in a chair could reach it, or a light switch a little bit lower so again somebody in a chair could reach it. They also teach you about the customer service, keeping the client's dignity, keeping them their freedom, just different things is it encompasses all of that. So it's the experience we already had going into it, but then just getting the certification and designation was just a step further. So my husband and I both, my husband is co-partner of this business, and we're both CAP certified and share that education with our employees as well. So it's pretty cool. We go into
exciting.
Yeah. It's really rewarding. We do normal bathroom renovations, normal kitchen, they don't all have to be accessible. And we do a lot of that work, but it's so rewarding when you go into these people's home and they haven't been able to do their dishes for, a couple of years because the dishwasher's too high or something like that. And you can fix that for them. So it's pretty fun.
What's interesting is that until it happens to you or one of yours, you don't realize the dishwasher is too high or the light switch is too high. And it comes as quite a surprise to families.
Yeah. There's so many things we still learn every single time we go into a home. We do a inspire assessment where we go through their entire home and say, okay, show us how you get in your tub, show us how you do this, things like that. And we offer so many things that a lot of clients didn't know that equipment even existed, or that option isn't even available. So it's very cool to have that education and the experience that we're able to share that with our community.
So what would just like a run-of-the-mill assessment look like here in Medford, Oregon?
Yeah, so typically what happens is Jim is more the boots on the ground. He does the actual assessments for the most part. Jim is my husband. Sorry, I don't know if I said that earlier.
That's okay. We'll include him.
Okay. So he goes into the home and he speaks with the customer, asks them, what they're having difficulties with. And they address that first off and foremost, say they're having a problem, getting up and down off the toilet. So they put in a toilet riser, things like that. Just anything to keep their independence and to keep their dignity. Nobody wants anybody to help them use the restroom or take a shower, so we try to address that first and foremost. And then we'll go around the entire house with them, including the bathroom, the kitchen are kind of your main areas, your entry and exit points, and just make sure that they can get in and out with whatever their situation is. Sometimes you just need a bar to hang on to while you walk down the steps. Sometimes you need a whole ramp. It just kind of depends on the whole situation. So it is if I remember right, a 60-point inspection that's, outlined that many points, but then you also, it's very ad-libbed as well, just depending on the situation, the home environment and the client as well.
Wow, a 60-point inspection. That's pretty extensive.
Yeah. Yeah, we look at everything from light switches to, microwave placements. So it's, it's quite extensive for sure.
Hmm.
It takes a good hour. Sometimes clients like to talk a little bit more, as you're aware. So, it can take it can take even a little bit longer, but to do a really thorough inspection or assessment is about an hour. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and you learn a little more if they're talking.
That's
Um,
true. Yeah,
yeah,
very true.
you might get some clues about um other up and coming issues with their home. So how many of these folks do you think are avoiding? I mean, this is just a hypothetical, really, question, but as you're talking, I'm wondering, well, all these people get to stay in their homes longer. I'm just
Mhm.
wondering, but we didn't talk about that question ahead of time, but how much
No,
they might get to stay. Has anybody had a chance to figure that out? Because I bet
I
it's
it's
quite a number of years longer.
oh yeah, absolutely. Because installing the safety equipment for them, it not only allows them to move around and things, it also prevents falls, which falls are one of the
Right.
major things that put people in hospitals. Break hips or legs, and at an elderly age, you don't heal as quickly as you do when you're
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a huge thing. So I mean, it's you really couldn't put a firm number on it, but I would say at
Mhm.
least 10,
We
10
might
more
go,
years.
yeah, we might maybe do a survey or something
Yeah.
and check. We're talking
Yeah.
to Becca Pierce, co-owner of Good Works Services here in Medford. We do have to take a quick break to say thank you to our lovely sponsors. We appreciate you all very much. John L. Scott, Ashland and Medford, Guy Giles Mutual Mortgage, and our local Rogue Valley Association of Realtors, RVAR. So do not touch that dial. Becca Pierce is going to be right back. Well, hey, Southern Oregon, welcome back to the Real Estate Show. We have Becca Pierce today from Good Works Services here in Medford, and we're learning all about what they do and how they help retrofit some folks' homes so they can stay in it longer if they're elderly or handicapped. So right before the break, Becca, we were talking a little bit about what a difference it makes in people's lives if they get to stay in their own home longer.
Oh, yes, for sure. So yeah, as we discussed, we think, approximately 10 years longer, but just, preventing those falls is the biggest part of all of that. And, if you can't get into your home, of course, you can't stay there. So, putting the ramps in or stairwells, whatever's needed. So yeah,
Mhm.
it definitely extends their time at home and makes them more comfortable. Yeah.
So how, when you're doing the assessment, and you said it can take up to an hour, um, is there a priority list of hazards in a home? I was just wondering, how do you decide what to address first, and is there a priority order?
There is top priority is always fall risk. That's what you look at first, and that encompasses anywhere from the kitchen. If they're trying to stretch and reach up to a counter, they could easily slip. Something like that. In the bathroom is a huge one. Can they safely get in and out of their tub? Do a big one that we do is tub to shower conversions. So you take
Oh,
out the
I'll
old
bet. Hmm.
yeah, take out the old, cast iron or fiberglass tub, and put in these nice. They're either zero threshold, so you can roll a whole wheelchair in there, or just a very low threshold, like maybe a inch high, so it's very easy to step over into it.
Hmm.
And they just make the world of difference for people, and the fall risk and everything like that. Another big one is raised toilets, like we talked about, because that just you can get on and off the toilet so much easier, which again reduces your fall risk. We also look a lot at fire equipment safety, or they have proper fire not extinguishers, but fire alarms, smoke alarms.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
yeah, CO2 alarms, things like that, warning systems to make sure that they're able to get out of the house. We've installed a couple things for the hearing impaired, like a shake thing that goes under the bed, so
Really?
they can't hear the alarm, but they can be shaken awake. Yeah. Yeah, we've done a few of
Wow. And
those.
that's in
So
case of fire?
yeah, yeah, in case of
That's super
fire.
cool.
If I remember right, it also hooked up to the CO2. So, it was, yeah, just an alarm system basically for when they're sleeping.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, so a lot of that, and then of course the entry and exit points, so they can, if there is an emergency or just daily living, you need to get in and out of your house. Are those safe to, to get you in and out? So if there's wood stairs or some rotted, where if there's a soft point, then you could easily fall or lose your balance. Are your railings secure? Just anything across the board like that with wheelchair ramps. I'm sure you're aware that there's all sorts of ADA regulations of the slope, how sloped down it could be. If it's too sloped, somebody's going to race down there off their chair, which won't be good. They have to have rails on the side so you don't fall off of the ramps. There's a lot of different little things that you wouldn't really think about until you kind of really work through all these things. So in addition to those 3 points, we also look at the safety of getting out of their car and into their up their driveway. Yeah,
That's very
look
cool.
at the entire environment that they're in. Sometimes even kitchen equipment, is their stove safe, things like that. So yeah, it's very thorough, all through the house. So yeah.
Wow, that is so interesting. So I want to loop back to the zero threshold showers, because not everybody knows what they are exactly.
Yeah. Gosh, I wish I had some media to share with you. So typically you have a bathtub that has I think it's probably 2 feet high side on it, maybe even a little bit higher. And you have to climb in there and take your shower or bath, whatever you're doing. So what we do is we take those out entirely. There are other options, but the best one we like is you take it out entirely and you put in, where that bathtub is this high, you put in a zero threshold. So now you only have this little lip to step over. And again, they have other ones that are zero threshold, so you can roll your wheelchair right into them.
So it's really the same as the floor. It's like the floor is extended into the bottom of the shower.
Exactly.
Wow,
Exactly. So the ones with the zero threshold, you actually recess down the shower. So the shower is a little bit lower, so it has drainage.
Was my next question.
Yes.
The drainage.
Yeah. So normally, because that's more extensive and expensive, normally people are okay with doing the little 1-inch lip that gives it just enough so you have the proper drainage and you can still easily get in and out. And then you also do things like you remove any of those sliding doors. Those we like everything to be nice and big and open. So it's there nothing that you're going to grab onto if you're falling that would fall with you.
Right.
So just make sure that you have everything, as many grab bars as you need to make sure that you're safe in that. But those tub to shower conversions too are beautiful. I mean, we've done 2 in our house now because we're still able to get in and out of the old tubs. But when I saw how much these open up your bathrooms, you just take out that whole barrier and you put in these nice, big, open, beautiful white showers and, clean walls and stuff. And they just look really nice. So
I bet.
Yeah.
And you never know. See, that's the thing. Younger people might, younger by, I mean, over 55, but not maybe 95. There's a range. There's no reason why you have to wait till it's an emergency to get ready to age. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. That's actually a really good point that we talk about a lot. Actually just had this conversation with my parents who are in their 70s.
How did that go?
It was great. They were actually really receptive to it. So some other parents, not so much. But
oh my gosh, most people are not.
Right. Yeah, mine were good with it. My in-laws, they were not so happy about it, but they finally conformed. But the thing is, you don't want to wait until you're stuck in the hospital and waiting to get home till you have a ramp installed. You want to make sure
that how it goes down. Like
it happens.
Get hurt, yes. They're in the hospital and they can't get out till their house is different.
Yeah, they won't release them until they have a ramp. And
what a drag.
Oh, for sure. We try to prioritize those as much as possible, but with construction, you're booked out quite a bit, and you try to move things around, but there's been people we've known that have been stuck for a good couple weeks in the hospital just waiting for a ramp to be built. So
Wow.
yeah, so I should talk about, there's temporary ramps that you can put in place. We're a dealer for, it's called easy ramps. They're those aluminum ones.
Oh yeah,
We don't,
yeah.
yeah, we don't necessarily love them because they're just not very pretty.
And they're clunky
But
and noisy.
yes, they are very noisy, but they are safe and they're a great alternative to something temporary until you can get a better one
So do
built,
you
or,
rent
a different.
those?
Yeah, they can be rented. They
Okay.
can be purchased. The problem with renting is the configuration of how high your door is compared to where you need to start that ramp. It's pretty
Hmm.
custom configuration if you have to
Yeah,
have
I would
a,
agree.
yeah. So
Every house is
that's one.
different. They're
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
so different. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another reason we really like the wood ramps also, because they're aesthetically pleasing. You can build them exactly how you want them. And you could do the exact specifications that you have to do to make sure it's safe as well.
Mhm. So I'm trying to ask you about two-story houses, and we only have a couple of minutes before we have to say thank you to our lovely sponsors again.
Okay.
And then I've got some more questions about the bathroom, but what about two-story houses? How does that work?
They're called chairlifts, and it's kind of like a railing that goes along your stairs. And then there's a chair that you can, out of your wheelchair, you transition to that chair that goes along the stairs. It brings you up on a chain system or hydraulics, kind of depends on what you get. And then you would have another wheelchair up at the top where you get out of the transition chair,
Oh,
you get
okay.
off of that and into your wheelchair upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what we typically, if possible, we like to convert a bedroom downstairs, just to keep
Oh,
it's,
100%. Yeah.
yeah, it's much better. But sometimes you can't. So yeah, that's a pretty they're pretty expensive, they're pretty pricey, but the installation is not too crazy. So it's a good alternative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've also seen people put in elevators into
Yeah,
their.
that's getting to be more popular.
It is, yes. And we cannot do those. That's a whole different trade. But we can always refer to anybody that needs
Yeah,
one.
I work
So
a lot in Ashland and that comes up. So we should talk a little bit about it. I just want to pick your brain about where you think that residential elevator movement is going.
okay, that sounds
Yeah.
good.
So Becca Pierce, Good Works, she's co-owner with husband Jim. How about we throw out a quick phone number before we go to this commercial break?
Sure. 541-210-5060.
Great. And your website real quick?
It's Good Work SVCS, which is abbreviated for services.com.
Perfect. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go away.
Thank you.
Well, here we are again back on the real estate show. Folks, I'm Alice Lema. I'm a broker at John L. Scott here in beautiful Southern Oregon and your host of the show. And today we are just having the best conversation with Becca Pierce. She's with Good Work Services, owns it with her husband, Jim, and they do retrofitting for elderly people, handicapped, and just better safety. You don't have to be handicapped or elderly to be safer, do you?
No, I had a surgery a few years ago and actually had grab bars installed in my shower, just to make it so
Oh,
much easier. So, just regular routine surgeries that, you're not as flexible or whatever, and they're so beautiful now. They're not, your big ugly white ones, or you can get white ones, but you can get the oiled bronzed or gold,
no.
or
Can you
yeah,
really?
yeah, you
I
can
did
get
not know
beautiful
that.
ones.
You
Yes,
can
and they
get
look
your grab
awesome.
bars to match your fixtures.
You absolutely
Oh,
can.
that is so
Yes.
downtown. That is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
That is so
they're
cool.
gorgeous. We
Wow.
really, for the most part, we like Moen products, just because
That's a good
they're
brand.
yeah, really good brand, really durable. We trust them. We've used them for years. And their line, if you ever go on their website and look at some of their grab bars, you're like, wow, I never knew a grab bar could be so pretty.
So,
So
are there other fixtures that are what we consider super functional that are also pretty? I guess I'll ask you
yeah,
that because I didn't know.
Absolutely. So they have towel bars that are actually used as grab bars as well. They're sturdy like a grab bar, not like a towel bar.
That is so good
Uh,
to hear. Yeah, because that's what
yeah,
it's what we're usually closest to when we're going down.
right. And so many people grab onto them, and they're flimsy. They
They
just
are so
bend and
flimsy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So those, and there's just kind of like little, I guess it'd be like a little stand-up cane thing that you can, have beside your bed so you can easily
Mm-hmm.
get out of bed and stand up. Transfer poles, which are floor to ceiling poles that you can put in, and they have really nice ones as well. So
So
there's
is a
there's quite a
transfer
few
pole
things.
something you hold on to while you're getting in and out of the chair? Or what's a
And
transfer pole?
you could, it's a floor to ceiling pole. For the most part, people use them to get in and out of showers. So you hang
Oh,
on to it because it's a vertical pole. You hang on to it, you step into the shower, and then
okay.
you step out, or to get in and out of bed. When you
Okay.
sit up in bed, it's hard to kind of get up, and it gives you a place to grab where you typically wouldn't have a wall or a cabinet or something
So
to
you
install a
wouldn't have
grab bar.
anything.
Right,
Just
exactly. So
yeah.
yeah, so you put those transfer poles in, and they're sturdy. They'll hold, I think, gosh, up to 500 pounds, I think is the right number. So they're definitely not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Not like the flimsy towel bar. That is so
right, exactly,
wow, that's great.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
sports fans, if you're listening and you're not elderly or handicapped, if you have surgery, Becca
Mhm.
and Jim can help you get through it more easily, more comfortably.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was loving those grab bars for sure.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
people just don't think about that until it happens. But if you're younger and you've done a lot of athletics, people are getting knee replacements and things like that earlier,
Yeah,
hip replacements earlier. So some of this equipment could help with that recovery. You wouldn't be in rehab so long, maybe.
absolutely. Yeah,
How
very good
fun.
point.
So I want to talk about the bedroom conversions next. I feel like I'm all over the place. This is such a fun topic.
Yeah, for sure. So with a bedroom conversion, it's basically you find a room in the downstairs. Typically, it's a garage, and
Oh,
you
is
would
that
have to
right?
take. Yeah, yeah, because normally all the other rooms are used for what they're used for. So if you need to make another bedroom, you typically will close off a garage, insulate it very well, make sure a lot of garages you step down on. You want to make sure that that's level, either with a ramp or some other solution for that. And then you finish it off with drywall and stuff, just like you would a typical, inner wall. And then make sure your doorways are at least 36 inches, sometimes even wider. Um, and then you just equipped it with, proper power, uh, any connections, just like you typically would. Put your boxes where they're easily accessible and stuff like that. So it's kind of a typical rehab construction. There's nothing really specific about a compliant bathroom or bedroom like that. So
And getting
yeah.
permits to do those conversions aren't real difficult, I wouldn't imagine.
No, not for those. Those are pretty simple. You're not dealing with sewer or anything like that. You're running a little bit of power and stuff. So they're pretty simple. Yeah. When you permits and things, when you start building on to things, adding things, running sewer, major electrical things like that are a lot more detailed. Not so much difficult, but a lot more detailed to collect and get and things like
hmm
that. So
Well, and it sounds like it's more common for people to do something with the existing interior as it is. They're not
yeah.
very often adding on to the foundation or the roof kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what we see for the most part. But we also don't do new construction like that. But really, everybody we talk to, that it'll be within the current footprint of the home.
hmm
Because then you're not dealing with roofs or concrete or anything major. Usually, your sewer is somewhere already where it already needs to be. You don't have to move anything. So that is very typical to just do it within your home, wherever you can find a space.
hmm
We've also seen a lot of people, that there's some very large living rooms, very large dining rooms, and you can, cut one of those in half or make them a bedroom altogether. So, and that's also pretty, fairly undetailed. You just put a wall up and a door, and you're pretty much good to go.
Oh,
With
that's easy. Yeah.
yeah, I made it sound 10 times more simple than it is, but it's not too hard like some of the other stuff for sure.
I saw a family room yesterday that was 500 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, it would be a beautiful, like, last bedroom. Lots
Yeah.
of windows. Yeah. I think we'll talk to them
Very
about
nice.
this. Yeah, yeah. Or
Yeah,
we'll have you talk to them. I'll get
absolutely.
out of the
We'd be
middle.
happy to.
Yeah. I also wanted to talk about the raised toilets, because that is a question that I get as an agent all the time. Isn't that funny? It's
Yeah.
one of the top questions that I get. So are you adding on to the existing toilet, or are we
Yeah.
doing all new ones, or what are we doing here?
There's well, multiple options, but you can do either or. The quickest, most economical fix is to put on a raised toilet seat. Basically just raises up the seat of the toilet,
Mm-hmm.
1 to 2 inches, and then that's as easy as, switching out a normal toilet seat. So nothing too complicated about that. And then the other one is a full raised toilet. You can buy toilets that are constructed higher than a normal one. And that you have the cost of the toilet plus the cost to switch them out, all that stuff. So it's a little more in depth, but it does look a lot nicer aesthetically.
Mm-hmm.
It looks much cleaner. You don't have that, we call it's durable medical equipment, the toilet seat and stuff. You don't see that, with the raised toilet. It just looks a lot nicer and easier to clean.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, I didn't
if
think
they
of that.
can,
Yeah.
yeah, the raised toilet, there's just a lot more crevices and things in those, with the seats as opposed to a whole toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of pros to going that way, but again, it is much more expensive and takes more time as well.
Mm-hmm. And you said it raises it up just 1 or 2 inches. That doesn't sound like very, very much distance. Does that make that big of a difference?
It does. It does. Yeah. Again, when I had that surgery, it was a stomach surgery, and just the amount of effort it took to just bend, that little bit amount, it makes a world of difference. And a lot of elderly people, with stiff joints and stuff, they say the same thing, that it just really makes it easier to get up and down off of it. So
Mm-hmm.
we almost always, when we install one of those, we have a grab bar right there too that, helps them get it on and off. But just that little bit of dignity, you can use the bathroom without having to yell for somebody to come grab you and, help you up. So that's a huge thing. And we like to make sure we keep that in mind at all times, is, just letting people have their independence and, do what they need.
And it's a
So,
common attitude with our elders. And I don't know if it's generational but they want to do things themselves. They don't want
mhm.
us to help them. But it seems like us younger, and I'm defining younger like under 60, we just seem more open to having people help us. What are your thoughts on, is it generational?
Absolutely. Yeah. People are way more open now to having this stuff installed. I'm in my 40s and I'm okay with it, so it's all that. It's usually like 70 and above, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
that, 65, 70. And then they kind of get into the stubbornness. I don't need that grab bar, or, I don't need this, but then they, can't do what they need to do on their own. So it's kind of like, it's here, put in this grab bar. It's gorgeous, makes your home look even better. So don't be so worried about it.
And
One
then
thing,
they call you back and have you do it anyway.
yeah, exactly. My husband was Jim, the one that does a lot of the inspections, and works a lot with the clients hands on, was called a construction worker, construction social worker, just because he's so good with these people. He treats the elderly like you would not believe. It's just,
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
it's
We
super
gotta
sweet. So
we
yeah.
gotta break again. I'm sorry. This is so fascinating. Becca Pierce of Good Work Services. Do not touch that dial, folks. We got more coming. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Real Estate Show. Just a quick reminder, this show will air again tomorrow at 8 a.m. So you can listen to everything Becca Pierce from Good Work Services says and be reminded of it. Thanks also again to John L. Scott, Ashland and Medford, Guy Giles, Mutual Mortgage, and Arvar for being our sponsors. If anybody wants to be a sponsor or a guest on the show, just reach out to me, Alice Lema at alicelema.com. Let's get back to Becca and get more information about Good Work Services and home health safety. I guess that's a good thing to call it, home health safety.
That's very good. Yeah.
Okay, so right before the break, we were having a good giggle about younger people fixing their homes so that they were more safe, and also older people wanting to be more independent. Do you get calls to come in and do assessments from the actual elderly person or their families? Who do you get the phone calls from?
Both. And we also work with caregivers from nursing homes, insurance agencies, stuff like
Oh, do
that.
you?
Yeah, yeah. But usually it's, if the elderly person is coherent, and is fine with that, then we talk to them directly. That's usually the best person to get the great information from. We do run into, though, they'll try to hide things from you. They don't want to tell you everything. So
The actual elderly person?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So they're kind of embarrassed of different things. So usually they'll warm up to us and realize we're not there to judge, we're there to help them, so they'll give in. But if not them directly, then usually a family member or caregiver, somebody who's very close with them and, signed up to take care of this stuff for them and kind of give them the help they need. But again, we work with insurance companies, so the care coordinators at the insurances, if one of their clients needs a ramp or grab bars installed, they can call us and we'll work with the caregiver or the occupational therapist, whatever they recommend. So it's really a combination of everybody, whoever is, the person that's helping the patient out, we'll be happy to speak with them about whatever they need.
So, did I hear you say that this might be covered by insurance?
Yeah, some insurance plans do cover this type of DME.
Really?
Sorry, DME is durable medical equipment. Yeah, a lot of plans out there, they'll pay to have these things installed in your house because they know that reduces hospital visits like no other. There used to be a number out there, but it really, it's a huge reduction in falls, huge reduction in, injury and things like that, which saves the insurance company thousands, when they could, put in a wheelchair ramp and grab bars, for a few thousand as opposed to hundreds of thousands for a fall injury. So yeah, just check with your plan. And, some plans cover it, some don't. So it's really just check with your insurance and see if they will. We are providers for a majority of the insurances here in town that are based in town. And you can definitely, they can request us, but they also have other people on their lists, that you can call out to. So there's multiple people that can help you with that.
Wow. Well, that's great to know that it might be covered by insurance. You wouldn't have to know, can that be added on to your insurance policy? Or I just need to talk to an insurance person?
Yeah, insurance is not my thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's okay. I'm just so impressed that insurance covers some of that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I believe it's, it's one of the higher premium insurances is, the ones that will cover it as opposed to your basic, does not. But I don't know if you can specifically add on just for DME or wheelchair ramps. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, for sure. Let me know what you find out.
I will. So I wanted to loop back to the car in and out because I don't think that occurs to a lot of people. So what do you guys do for that? And how do you do an assessment on somebody getting?
Yeah, so we're new to this one. We've always dealt with homes and stuff, but we are now a dealer for Easy Ramp that adds ramps to cars, either ramps, that you would park, you open up your door, you fold it out, you roll out, and then you can roll back in. They also have lifts and things like that you've seen that actually, are on hydraulics that go down, and then you wheel your chair out.
Say that again. You have what on hydraulics?
It's like a gate that comes down off of the van.
Oh,
platform,
right. Okay. Yeah,
and the chair rolls out to that, and then you lower it down with hydraulics. So there's a lot of different options. And again, we're new to that part of it, but there are a lot of great options. So when you do the assessment for those, you have them, if they're driving, you say, hey, show me how you're getting in and out of your car, both in the walkway, leave your house, walk to your car, get in your car. And so we can see that and see what you need help with, what it needs to be done to make that safer for you. So it's, a lot of just asking people to show us what they do and just seeing how we can help, what equipment out there is there for them.
It's really like a motion inspection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really along the lines of occupational therapists. They do very similar with their patients. Of course, we are not as skilled as an OT, but it is very similar to see how they need, the improved movement, improved accessibility with whatever area we're looking at.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So are you able to go into somebody's home and make their hallway wider? Can you do that kind of construction?
Yeah, we can, as long as it's feasible in the house, as long as it's not a load bearing wall or stuff like that. Yes, we can definitely do widening. We've widened many doors. A lot of the older homes have, pretty narrow doors.
They are surprisingly narrow.
Yes,
the older the house, the smaller the people must have been.
Yeah. Another thing you don't really think about until you do is the bathroom doors. So if they go in and, if somebody has fallen and that's a pretty small bathroom, or their wheelchair is smaller. I mean, they're in a wheelchair, they have to get in the bathroom. Having that door open out as opposed to in, that solves so many problems, because if they fall behind that door, you're not stuck trying to get the door open when they're, on the ground behind it.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of stuff like that. So that's a pretty simple switch of just some hinges. And then, you can do the pocket doors, which are harder in existing homes, the ones that slide into the wall.
They're harder for the construction, you mean?
Yeah, because there's always studs and stuff within the walls.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So what we'll look at is if there's room for a barn door, as opposed to the doors on the outside of the wall, but still just still just slides up. It gets the door out of the way. You have much more room to move. And it's really a good solve to a lot of that.
Yeah, and they look fun and they're trending on Pinterest.
They really are. The hardware for those is some really cool stuff. I love those things.
Yeah. But, so do those barn doors lock?
You can do latches for them. They have like a little swing latch, because it doesn't sit like flush like a regular door. Yeah, but it has a little swing latch that you can put in there.
Yeah, because that's a question I get too when I recommend the barn door, because I just think doors are such a waste of space.
Yeah, they are. They are. The barn doors
how
are
do you
great.
lock it when you go in the bathroom? Like, they're afraid to go in the bathroom if they can't close the door and lock it.
I understand it'd be the same, but yeah, there's a very simple solution with just those little latches that solve that. Yeah, it's not a lock, but
so it's like on the inside, like a screen door, an old school screen door.
Yeah, it's on the inside. Yeah, so they have complete control of who opens it and things.
Yeah, and actually, if you got stuck or you fell, that would be easy to break. Like if the fire department had to come, or those little latches aren't. It's not like kicking down.
Right. That's a very good point. I never even thought about that. Yeah, because they pop off pretty, not easily, but a little bit of force, and you can definitely get that open pretty easily. They won't
take the whole door with them like a deadbolt. Right. Well, nobody puts a deadbolt in their bathroom, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. We've seen some crazy things.
I bet it's really fun to go in and out of houses. You never have you always have a lot of stories. So we only have a couple minutes left, and we still have a lot to talk about. Let's give your phone number and website again, just so that people for sure can have that.
Sure. Phone number is 541-210-5060. And website is Good Work Services SVCS. So it's GOODWORK SVCS.com.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So what's your favorite age of house to work on? What's your favorite and least favorite? We only have 1 minute left.
Okay, we love 1950s era just because they're built. Yours too? Yeah. They're built
30 to 50.
So sturdy. Yeah. And we really, the construction is always so fun. You find all sorts of fun stuff. People have done some weird things to them over the years, so they're just exciting. 80s is also really sturdy, but they're always kind of old and dingy, we think. So they just seem to be the house that hasn't been updated yet. So that I'd say that's probably our least favorite.
Yeah. And they're more likely
Even,
to have those different levels
yeah,
in the 80s.
yeah. And then also, we do a lot of work on modular homes, and they're great.
Oh,
Yeah, they're great, but they're pretty flimsy for the most part. You
yeah,
know, a lot of them.
it takes a special touch. And I'm sorry,
Right.
Becca, we gotta
That's
go,
okay.
but would you
That's
please come back and let's talk more about good work
Yeah,
services and home health construction?
absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's been great. Okay, folks, that's it for now. Have a great Southern Oregon weekend, and we'll see you back here on the real estate radio show next week. Bye now.